Well, hello and welcome to volume 129 of My Prostate is Trying to Kill Me. I'm Mark Graves, just a regular old guy fighting prostate cancer, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride. Don't mind him. He's just here to check things out. It is Friday, so remember everyone deployed, praying for our troops until they all come home. And it's also Uplifting Friday. So this is the second Friday we've done this now. It's just a chance for the cancer crew to get together and maybe talk about some of the stuff that we've done during the week, maybe spread a little good news, a little faith, a little uplifting. It's hard. Sometimes it's tough. And we got Brian. I'm going to have you guys wave so everybody knows who's who. There's Brian and Lee. Okay. And then we got David, Jack, Steve, and Steve. Okay. All right. So there's the cancer crew. And it's been an interesting week. Right out of the gate, I got to say, I'm dying to find out what happened at the oncologist today, Brian.
Well, he said I have cancer.
Oh, it's all over, dude.
No
it's over.
shit.
Wow. Way to bury the lead.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. PSA went up a little bit, and I said, I asked him, I said, at some point it's going to get to a number where we got to do something. He says, yeah, we're just waiting for it to get to a point where we got to do something. And right now it's at 0.07. Of course, for those who don't know, that's post-radical prostatectomy. So it should be 0, or it should be, if there's a little bit of prostate left, it should be flat, not going up at all. And it's not. So it was at 0.03, then 0.04, then 0.06, then 0.07. So it's going up slowly at the rate it's going. I'm looking at probably having it go, it hit the critical number at 2.0 is the official number for a recurrence of cancer. But it's like, so I asked the doctor, I said, flat out, you don't call it a recurrence yet because I haven't hit 0.2. But I said, is there cancer in there? He goes, yes. It wouldn't be going up. If it was just benign prostate, it would be flat. If it's cancer, it goes up, and it's not that aggressive because of the rate that it's going up at about 0.01 per 3 months on average. So what we're looking at is when it gets to 0.15 in about 2 years from now, I guess, is at the same rate. He goes, but it could start speeding up. It's not linear. So at the rate it's going now, it's 2 years. So sometime within the next 2 years, I'm looking at radiation. That's the bottom line.
So I have a question. Is yours metastasized?
How do you know? I mean,
well, what stage are you?
It was stage 2.
Okay, then it's not.
Before the prostatectomy.
Right. So at that point, you did not have metastasis.
That's correct.
Stage 4 is when they say definitely you have metastasis. And I guess stage 3 might also be, because did they say you had metastasis, Mark?
No, I'm stage 3, but they did the bone scan, and they've done the what's the other scan? Not the MRI, but the
PET scan.
Yeah, they've done that twice.
Okay.
So mine is not metastasized.
Yeah, because I was just wondering that if it was metastasis, then that would explain that maybe, if you have metastasized cancer and they took your prostate out, you may still have remnants of cancer left in your body because it's moved outside of the prostate, which may still show up as PSAs, I would think, if it started to react again.
Yeah, I talked to the urologist 2 days ago, and he said, he's the one that removed the prostate. He said, I got everything. It looked like we got everything. It was fully encapsulated, and
right.
And then the lab work came back that it clean margins all the way around.
Yeah.
But he actually used the words, I'm a bit puzzled as to why this is happening.
That's not something you want to hear your doctor say.
No.
Yeah, I wonder if it could be a fluke. I hate to say that, but could it just be an anomaly that it's reading something that hasn't cleared yet?
I don't know. It's going up over the last 14 months in surgery, and it's been going up ever since. So, the oncologist says it would be very rare. He goes, I've never seen it go down after it goes up, but I have seen it level off and stabilize in a rare occasion.
There was just a guy on that cancer group that said that his was going up and it went back down. So
Really?
yeah, I remember reading that and thinking, wow, that's weird. I'd never seen that before.
After how many checks? Was it like he was riding his bike and having sex and had a PSA, and then the
Yeah.
next PSA check he didn't?
I think it was like, was it 2 or 3 months in between the two that it was up? If I remember correctly, it went down like 0.02.
Huh. I'd need more
And
than,
I'm just doing this by memory. So
yeah, I would want more than 2 tests to conclude a trend.
right.
Well, if it
Yeah,
does
oh,
continue
absolutely.
trending upward, see if you can take advantage of the PSMA PET scan. I'm reading very good things about that, and it's specific to prostate cells.
Yeah, the oncologist is at UCLA, and he exclusively uses that. It was just approved, obviously, because I was going to get into the test phase of it, but he said that we don't recommend anybody getting a PSMA until the PSA hits 0.2, at which point the gallium PET CT scanner, the PSMA, stands a 20% chance of finding it. Better than others at that early stage, but still. Now, the one thing interesting the urologist said to me the other day is that until recently, below 0.1 was considered undetectable because we couldn't detect anything less than 0.1. We didn't have that kind of accurate testing. So if you were to come to me 5 years ago, had a prostatectomy, and you'd be undetectable this whole time. So I have the benefit of at least knowing something's happening, something's growing, and I can look forward to, I don't know what's better, having the peace of thinking you're cured or knowing that it's growing in me. I don't know.
Right. I wonder if that's a slip of the tongue because, and again, I don't know from, that far back because mine was just diagnosed last year, but I've been told anything below 0.01 is considered undetectable.
He said it several times. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying that's what they've told me, in the year that I've been dealing with this.
Yeah, and I think he said like up until a few years ago, 0.1 was the lowest they could get.
Right.
And now that they can, I think 0.01 is considered undetectable because I was 0.03, then 0.04, and so on. It's obviously detectable.
Right.
So it's really disappointing because you think, oh, I'm going to take the drastic step and just have it all taken out. It's stage 2. It hasn't spread.
Right.
Get it out, and that's the kind of personality that I have. I'd rather just get it over with and get it out. Now I'm at a point where the doctor tells me, okay, it didn't work. We did all that drastic measure, but you still have cancer. But we're not going to do anything about it till it gets worse. And that's not my personality. I don't want to sit here and wait. So my question, and I wished I'd have asked him this, is why not just start radiation now? What's the harm?
They may not know where to target.
I guess that could be, but they may not know at 0.2.
Right. So this is when we were texting. This is the thing that pisses me off more than anything, because I've always been in like bleeding edge technical engineering innovations. It's like why can't we do this? I mean, I just so I know where you're coming from, and I get so frustrated with why can't we detect it? Why can't we see it? Why can't we find it?
Yeah, exactly. It's frustrating. And I guess we're measuring it at such an infinitesimally small level. And at that, he said, yeah, it's not aggressive. So, yeah, it's not going to get me in all likelihood. But can it spread? That's the fear I have is like, where's it going to go? I know it's in me. We know it's there. But we're going to wait.
Yeah.
People have it worse. Don't get me wrong. And I'm trying, to look at the glass half full here. I really am. But, everybody looks at your own situation, and all of our situations suck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We all have cancer, and it just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is much easier to look at somebody else's glass and call it half full than your own,
Yeah.
Right.
Don't rush into making something worse.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So you're just going to be a watch and wait guy now, huh?
Watch and wait till it eventually hits point. At point. Okay, I'm a pilot, and I have to have an FAA medical in order to certificate to fly, and the magic number for that is 0.2. When it hits 0.2, I can't fly anymore. I can't be issued a medical certificate at 0.2 or above, and then we need to do something. So I told the oncologist that. He said, okay, then we'll hit it early. So he's thinking, well, right now it's at 0.07. He's like, just go relax, enjoy your life until it hits 0.1, then we'll start getting serious. Because what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
That's it's
Go relax
much easier
and
to
enjoy
say.
life.
Much easier to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do have some news. Going for my MRI tomorrow, so finally going to start on the road to treatment.
Nice.
Been waiting forever to get the MRI. I had one about a year and a half ago, and the oncologist wants to start with a new MRI, and then they told me probably in about 3 weeks I'd start getting zapped. The other good news is for anybody who's been thinking about radiation, if you've heard of space ore or hydrogel.
Yeah.
And it depends upon the insurance company, but fortunately my insurance company has just now started to cover hydrogel. So,
Cool.
that's the thing that goes between your rectum and your prostate to keep your rectum from getting burned with the radiation.
Wrecked him,
So-
damn near killed him. Sorry. I always have a hard time passing that one up.
Wait a minute.
What
Your rectum
kind
gets
of
burned?
radiation are they going to give you?
What's that?
What kind of radiation are they going to get?
Right now he's talking IMRT.
Yeah, because I had IMRT 25 sessions and I did not have any space or gel and had no problems.
Right. Yeah. It's not a guarantee that if you don't have it you won't get a burn, but it's just kind of an insurance. And
Yeah.
I was going to have it done irregardless if I had to pay for it or not, just because it's everything I've heard about well if that radiation does burn the rectum, and it all depends upon everyone's physiology, but if it burns, you're screwed for the rest of your life on that, because it's something that just won't heal, apparently.
Okay, this whole burn the rectum thing is new to me.
Yeah.
I can't get past it.
That was my biggest.
Haven't you eaten Mexican food before?
I kept asking my doctor over and over and over again. I said, are we going to destroy my rectum? Because I already have a tube I pee out of. I don't need a tube to poop in. And he said, he goes, it's not going to be that bad. He says, we'll put the space ore in there, and he explained how it worked and where it went. Like, really? You're going to
space
what?
ore.
Yeah.
And okay, so you lay on the table, lift up your legs, and then they take a needle and they put it in your taint, and they squirt this jelly in there, and the jelly goes in between your rectum and your prostate, and it makes a buffer in there. So it separates the two, and it gives them more a better shot. So it's like if you had a bad guy and a good hostage, you put the space ore in there and it moves them apart. So you got an easy.
It's expanding foam. Everybody loves expanding foam.
There you go. Yeah. So it goes in and it pushes in between them and gets it farther away so that you don't have as much blow by with the radiation. Now they couldn't do that to me because mine was so damn big that it was already pushing into my rectum. And so I asked him, I said, well, what do we do if I can't use that? And he goes, same thing we've done for the last 100 years, or whatever. That it's a new thing that, but he said, no big deal. If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's, one of those things.
Yeah, I remember when they were talking to me about radiation, they gave me the read this piece of paper and all that stuff. And I went through all the paper and I was okay with everything except it got to the line that said possibility of a colostomy bag. And so the doctor came back in, he says, do you have any questions? I said, look, man, I'm a poker player. I said, I need to know what the odds are on something. And he said, what's that? I said, dude, the colostomy bag bugs me. And I said, what are the odds? And he actually looked at me and laughed. He goes, I have been trying to get them to take that out for years because I've done over 2,000 of these and I've never had one issue.
Yeah.
He said, so in my history, your chance is, less than 0.001%, and I was like, okay, we're good. Poker player, remember?
Yeah.
I look at the odds.
Yeah, same thing my oncologist told me. He said he's never had anybody come out with a bag.
Yeah.
He says I've had people get irritated. I've had people with the burn, but not to the point where anything was damaged on there. It was just
Right.
sensitive for a while after the radiation. Basis.
Right.
Never had anybody that he saw long-term damage on.
Yeah.
But
Now,
again,
Mark,
it's one of those
sorry.
things you get scared about.
Mark, you were talking about having terp done.
Yes, at some point I might be able to do that.
Okay, I had mine done about 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a early lead in there as far as my prostate kind of growing there, and man, it made all the difference in the world. I was peeing my name in the sand.
You remember how long your recovery time was on that?
Well, they had me wear a Foley catheter for about 2 weeks. You pee a little blood, and you have some initial burning and discomfort, but I just had the leg bag, and after that, they took the catheter out, and I was a happy camper.
So where do they go in? I understand the concept. I don't know the practice. I don't know what they do on. Where do they go in to cut?
Well, they just go up through your penis, and I'm pretty sure they use like what they call a green light laser, and it's just like everybody calls it, roto-rooter. They're just.
But is it the urethra that they're cutting, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What does TERP stand for? I can't remember.
I forget. I just call it roto-rooter, Jack.
It's a long thing.
Transurethral resection of the prostate.
Thank you.
What was that?
I got to bring up the screen again. Hang on.
Yeah.
Transurethral resection of the prostate.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather call it TERP too.
And I know they've just also come out with another procedure where it's called Urolift, I think, where they actually just go in with little wires, and it's hard to describe it. I'm sure you can find it online, but it just kind of separates the urethra from the prostate a little bit, and just kind of pulls it apart by a little wire going through the prostate to the outside, just kind of like a little fish hook, and opening that up.
Got a fish hook in your wiener?
No, in your prostate.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just gets better and better, doesn't it?
What part of this is uplifting?
Okay.
What part is uplifting?
Well, what I was wondering is they can put a stent in your arteries to expand it. Why can't they put a stent in your urethra?
Same exact principle.
Huh?
Hey, Lee, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So you're choosing what IMRT, right? Or basically.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I
and
guess
they may change because I'm still in the early stages of I started an MRI, and then I have a call with the oncologist the following week. So it may be IMRT, it may be SBRT.
okay, because I called my urologist on Tuesday, and I called the radiation specialist on Tuesday, and said that I'm going to go CyberKnife, which is that brand of SBRT.
SBRT. Yeah.
So I was just wondering. I'm real comfortable with my decision, which I think is the main point of everything, right? You got to be comfortable with the decision that you make. So I just wonder why you're looking at one versus the other.
Well, that's what my oncologist suggested initially, and I just met with him back in January, and that was before I've really started to start really down the road. I guess maybe he suggested it because he thought it would be a little less toxic than having the SBRT. I guess he,
Okay.
you know, because I took him all my medical records and things like that. So, but like I say, he may be able to change that because I mean, if you look at SBRT, it's like what 5 or 6 treatments versus
Yeah.
20
Yeah,
or 30.
I'm looking at 5 treatments.
Yeah.
So the reason that, well, a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to sit in there and go for 20, 30, 40 sessions.
Yeah.
That just has no appeal to me whatsoever.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I kind of like the radiation side of it. And my whole career, like I said, it's always been like, you know, all the super high tech, cutting edge technologies. It's like I'm super, super comfortable with like modeling the prostate the way they're going to 3D model it and hit it with a robot that's going to use those contours. And so for me, it was like, oh, this is like taking my work that I've done, you know, for 30 years and just applying it to this. So I'm like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
dad.
because,
Go ahead.
good.
I was gonna say my dad had the CyberKnife on his lung and had really great results with it.
Yeah, because I guess from what and you can find all kind of animations on YouTube about this. I spend way too much time on YouTube watching this stuff, but with the SBRT, they're actually doing it in real time as you breathe.
Yes.
You know, things are moving around, so in real time, it supposedly is recalculating exactly where to hit.
Yeah, they're going to put, from what I understand, because I'm like I said, I'm just going down this road now. They're going to put 4 gold markers in it.
Yeah.
And then
Your
the
golden
computer,
seeds. Yeah.
Yeah, then the computer tracks those 4, and wherever those 4 move, it adjusts the laser instantaneously with it.
Right.
They put gold seeds in your prostate?
Yep.
Wow. How
Yeah,
do they
that's
do
weird.
that?
So
Because
lots
they
of
did that.
worth, you know, $1.50 or something like that.
Yeah, they did that on mine too, but I had IMRT is what my oncologist said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I you know, the IMRT is you know, you're going for more sessions, so it's a lower dosage per
Right.
session. So
Yeah, I had 25.
So I don't know. I have no idea yet. You know how many sessions I'll have or anything like that, but should know something in a couple more weeks there. So I'm kind of, you know, anxious to get started and get this behind me.
Right there with you.
I'm just going to wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, you're in the holding pattern.
So
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, since the last time we talked, because I missed the last uplifting one, which was right after I had this news, I saw my oncologist, and I'm still undetectable, and he is just ecstatic over everything and the way it's going. And I'm back now to seeing him every 2 months and having my PSA levels taken every month and just watching and waiting. So,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
you know,
great.
and the good thing, what's funny is that I had never seen anybody over 5 years that had been on ADT and was still talking about it. And then just the other day on the group, there was a guy who came in and said that he was on bicalutamide, which is the predecessor to the Zytiga and the Xtandi. That I'm on Zytiga, Mark's on Xtandi, and it was the predecessor to that. And he's been on it 12 years, and he's metastatic. He has stage 4, and he's detectable levels.
Wow.
So that gives you a little bit of hope that, hey, this is working, you know, and see where it goes. I did ask my oncologist this time. I said, I just want to know why you chose ADT instead of, you know, intravenous chemotherapy. And he said, because the side effects of ADT are much less than chemotherapy. And when and if the ADT fails, we still have chemotherapy to go to as a last result type of thing, which will, you know, hopefully I'll still be, you know, able to do chemotherapy if it ever does, hoping the ADT works forever.
Yeah.
So
Take the win, man. That's awesome.
so I'm pretty happy about all of that, and I feel good, and I'm back to exercising, and
Fantastic.
not like Steve does, but I'm back to doing my old man exercising, you know, just to try to keep some muscle tone and stuff like that. And I'm going to start walking my 2 miles next week with my dogs, and just trying to, you know, keep the things that, because I've noticed the ADT, I've been gaining fat around my waist that I don't like. So, you know, I'm doing my sit-ups, yeah, as we all know. So I'm trying to do as much as I can to minimize that so that I don't, you know, it doesn't get to be an issue.
Hey, did you see the thread? Speaking
But I
of,
don't want to do Ironman, Steve.
Why not? You can do it.
did you
I'll
see
tell you
the
the
thread?
truth.
Because I'm an old man.
So am I.
Did you see the thread?
I'd much
The guys were
rather take my
talking
Harley
about-
out for a ride.
There was a thread on the private group where the guys were talking about being on ADT for years and years and years, and there was quite a number of them that said they quit. They just said, "Hey, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm tired of the hot flashes. I'm tired of the weight gain. You know, I want to feel like a man again." And they went off of it. And I'm just like, that's not a decision I could make. You know,
Right.
I'm too much of a coward. It's like if it's
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and especially like for me, I'm in stage 4. If I stop, then everything else starts attacking, and I don't want to do that. You know, I'd rather be fat and alive with a few hot flashes and some fatigue than be not any of those.
I'm with you.
So I'll deal with whatever it is. And I did get a few, because they changed me to Eligard this time, and they gave me a 6-month dose. And I have noticed that there's a few more hot flashes, which they said because of the 6-month dose, right in the beginning, you like the first month, you might have some more hot flashes. But again, so what? I throw the covers off at night for like 5 minutes, and then I pull them back over, and it's fine. You know, it's nothing that I can't live with. The weight around, you know, the fat around my waist, nothing that I can't live with. The fatigue,
I've been living with it for years.
yeah, but and the fatigue, like I said, the fatigue is not at a point where it stops me from doing anything. But when I stop doing whatever I want to, then I sit down and I fall asleep. You know, so every time except when at night, then I wake up all the time.
yeah, no, we got an excuse. All right,
Yep.
so Steve, you're being really quiet over there in the corner. What's going on with you?
Are you talking about this, Steve?
Yes.
You want to call me? You want to call me Ski to keep it not so confusing?
Sure. What do we call you?
Ski.
Ski? You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just listening to Jack, and everything Jack said is exactly what I'm going through. You don't have Kaiser by any chance, do you, Jack?
I think he's met his signals dropping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can hear me okay, can't you?
We couldn't for a minute.
Oh, okay. I was just asking Jack if you had Kaiser, because you're exactly in the same spot I'm in.
No, I have another insurance here that's in Arizona.
Oh, okay. But
So, but here's the deal too, is that, you know, one of the things, I think we mentioned this in the group, that one of the things that I was concerned about was what happens if at some point I lose my insurance. And you know, that's a fear, because the cost of my Zytiga and prednisone and Lupron comes out to probably $10,000-$11,000 a month if I had to pay for that out of pocket. But I just found out that the Zytiga abiraterone acetate on GoodRx through Walmart is $300 a month. And I was like, oh my God, that's a relief, because if everything went south and I didn't have insurance and I had to pay this out of pocket, I could probably, you know, swing that, just because, you know, I've got enough to do that. So I mean, instead of looking at $11,000, $12,000, $10,000, $11,000 a month, I'm looking at probably less than $800 a month with everything that I have, including, you know, my abiraterone acetate Zytiga, prednisone, and the Lupron shots. So, you know, it's small stuff that you look at as, you know, it just takes a little bit of stress off you, knowing that, hey, I could do this even if I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
So
How do you account for that disparity between the GoodRx price and what the insurance theoretically pays or
Well,
doesn't
I
pay.
tried. I actually tried to look it up once I read it, and what they were saying was that pharmacies, because of it seems like because of the deals that they work with the different insurance companies, they overcharge so that they can get, because they only get a percentage of whatever the cost is. So
that's
now
some
they're
kind of
recouping a
artificial
lot
number.
of that, and it just it's crazy.
It's kind of some kind of artificial number that nobody ever pays that, even the insurance company. And then they
Well-
probably still write off the loss so they don't have to pay taxes on the difference of what they're paid and what they bill. I would think it's a
Right,
big
but
scam.
I do look at because I get mine through CVS Specialty Pharmacy, and they bill out just under $8,000 a month for mine, and it says that they're paid $8,000.
Wow.
You know that number. So I just don't get it. And I also noticed too, because I was looking at this, that Cytiga, if you have insurance, just like you had, Mark, Cytiga has a plan also for or Apotex, the company that makes the drug. Apotex, TEX or TEK, can't remember. But whoever makes that drug has a plan just like you did, where they'll help you cover your copay and hopefully get it to where it's out of pocket. So if anybody's out
Mine
there,
is zero right now.
What's that?
Mine's zero.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like if anybody's out there and they're paying a copay, go to Apotex, or just look it up. Manufacturer help on abiraterone acetate or Zytiga, and I think it was Apotex that makes it. So there's something out there that can help you get help with that, and hopefully not have to pay a bunch of money to, in co-payments,
Yeah,
in order to get your drugs.
makes a big difference. Ski, are you having issues with Kaiser? Is that why you're asking?
No, I just, everything was so exactly what I'm doing. It made me wonder, but I too had Eligard substituted for Lupron, and last week they switched me to a 6-month shot, and they said, you won't notice any difference, but boy, the hot flashes have really kicked in.
Yeah.
But
Now, I did notice on go ahead. I did notice on GoodRx's webpage, when you click on the actual Lupron and not like Lupron acetate, the name brand, it says that Lupron has been discontinued. So that may be part of the problem that we're having getting it. But from everything I read, the Eligard is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just a generic of it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a little bit of a different transport medium, because and that's why they inject it into a different location.
It is. Yeah, it's not intramuscular. It's what do they call it?
Subcutaneous.
They put it just under the skin, and that's the way it's
On your belly?
it's released.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
they
it goes
put,
into fat.
that's what they had been doing, because my dad got it, and he got it on his belly. I got mine on my hip still, but it was higher, like up around just below where my belt would ride.
Oh, okay.
And there was a knot there, but it's pretty much gone by now.
Yeah.
So
Ski, where did they
that was only
Yeah, I got mine right in the belly. On
Really?
the right side.
yeah. So you're probably on
At
your
least they can't miss.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but something you guys were talking about earlier that has me a little bit worried is my PSA for the last 4 or 5 months has been listed at less than 0.1,
right.
which they call undetectable. But now you guys are talking about 0.0 and a number. So I'm wondering if maybe Kaiser has old-fashioned equipment to measure this stuff or something.
No, there's two processes to measure it. Some of these guys are getting like 0.002.
Yeah.
And then the other process is mine was 0.01. So anything less than 0.01 they consider undetectable.
Well, mine's less than 0.1.
Yeah, mine's less than 0.01.
Yeah, I'll take yours.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, yeah, and I just had a bone scan on Tuesday, which was the first one I'd had since 6 months ago, shortly after I got my initial diagnosis. and they say the uptake in my skull area is decreased, which is a blessing. And the spots on my spine are no increase or decrease. They're holding their own. So that's
Very
good
cool.
news. Yeah.
Now, Ski, were you at church last night?
I was at church last night. My pastor asked me to share my testimony with our men of our church. So I bared my soul in front of the whole church, and I'm a little drained today.
I'll bet. I felt like such an idiot last night because I know that you invited me. I remember that you told me it was on beach. I go
Yes.
down to Adams and hang a U-turn. I went through my text messages. I went through my emails. I could not find where we had talked about that. I was looking on Messenger, on Facebook. So my apologies. I wanted to be there last night,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I did not
great.
make it. But I'm glad that they asked you to do that.
Yeah. It's north of Yorktown, Mark. Yorktown's where you make the U-turn.
Oh, see, I would have even been in the wrong place then if I tried to go on memory.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
so sorry.
yeah, I'll send you the link. It's on the church website, so you can watch it.
Oh, great.
I called
Send
it
us all the
watching, I called it watching a grown man cry.
Nice.
Very emotional for me.
But
Yeah.
it does feel good afterwards though to get all
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah, I got some really positive responses from some of the
Good.
guys.
I'm so sorry I missed that. I can guarantee you I would have been crying right along with you.
Oh yeah.
That is crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, so on the happier side of things, today my dad turns 83 years old, and
Yay.
gosh, I was gonna say something about him, but I didn't get his permission to talk about it on YouTube, so I won't. But in generally really good health, he's having a little. Let's just say I introduced him to my urologist, so we're keeping it in the family. But real quick, let me do this before I forget. This is the first Friday that we're doing the free tea Friday, and although none of us are wearing our shirts today, these are the let's see, what does it say? I'm fighting prostate cancer. What's your superpower? And we're going to give away one of these no matter what size you are. And so what we're going to do is if you want to win one of those and the couple of the wristbands, we'll throw them in there in the comments below. I don't know, pick a word, Brian.
Baloney.
Baloney. All right, type baloney in the
I almost said blow me, but that's different.
That's 2 words.
they get a little more than a shirt for that. So type baloney in the comments below, and then come like Sunday afternoon, we'll throw the, well, in fact, we have to have a cutoff time. Noon on Sunday, we'll cut it off, and then I'll go through the comments, write down everybody's name, throw it in a hat. We'll pull out a name. That's our winner. We'll notify him and let him know, do direct message on here. And the video on Monday, we'll also announce it on there too.
Hey, Mark.
Yes,
Mark, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Don't use the words "cut it off."
Well, trust me, man, it would be tough in my case. You'd have to find it first.
Just so you guys also, Mark talking about his dad. I'll just give a little update on my dad. My dad turned 80 on February 14th, and he is between 11 and 12-year prostate cancer survivor,
Nice.
and doing rather well.
Great.
Great.
That is good to hear.
Good to hear.
Yep. Very good.
That is awesome. All right.
Cool.
And so we're getting about ready to wrap it up for our Friday. Anybody else got anything?
Just
Nope.
wish everyone a great weekend.
Yep.
Well, minor news in my case is I had another chemo session on Monday. PSA test preceded it, so it covers the previous period. But I got a little bit of a drop in the PSA number.
Very good.
So
Very
that
cool.
was nice. That was encouraging. And this is the 4th day after chemo, so this is the low point for energy and the high point for unpleasant symptoms right now. So I needed something to cheer me up. So thanks for this. I've got
You know what else
one
can
more
cheer you
session planned.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I missed what you said. All I was saying is I've got one more session planned in now 2 weeks and a couple days. And going back to something that was said earlier, one of the side effects I'm dealing with is an increase in fat percentage and a decrease in muscle, which
Right.
is making getting the IV access for the chemo more difficult.
Oh.
It went very well on Monday, but that's my major stressor for the next chemo is, are they going to be able to find a good access? So I'll be fretting over that for a while. But
Yeah.
I've got I try to tell myself to be optimistic, and we'll see how it goes.
Does drinking a lot of water help to get a lot of fluids in you?
Yes, it does. I hydrate well the day before, so that does help. But the veins are getting harder and harder to find. They're deeper and deeper down. There's no muscle pushing them up against the skin.
Wow.
Oh,
And the right side is pretty much unusable as the result of the previous set of chemo that I did in 2019 with docetaxel. That pretty much ruined those veins for access. It's very hard on the access point. So as a takeaway, I'll mention anybody who is facing chemotherapy in the future, a port is a very good idea. I had a port installed before I started chemotherapy. The bad news is that it got infected and had to be removed, so I was never able to use it. And so I rolled the dice on this set of chemotherapy and did not get a port installed. And sometimes I regret that. Sometimes I'm saying, well, we've got 5 in, we only have to do 1 more. There are advantages and disadvantages to having it or not having it. Right now, it's just a little bit more stress that I don't have that easy access. So that's my news.
Well,
all right.
that is good news. And you know what? It just put a light bulb on in my head because I had to have blood drawn a couple of weeks ago, and they never have trouble drawing my blood. And the guy was in there digging around, and that's probably exactly why, because I'm getting too fat. So he was having a harder time, getting in there and digging around. So that makes sense. It's like trying to stick it in the Pillsbury Doughboy. But
Well, not this last time, but the previous time, they actually had to go in through the vein on the back of my hand. It was the only access they could get. So I was very relieved when they got good access in my elbow on Monday. So it's variable.
how long do you have to sit for your session?
I'm trying to think how to put this. Once I'm actually in the treatment center, there's some pre-meds that go in, and then there's the actual chemo. So from start to finish, 3 hours. The actual time for the cabazitaxel and the docetaxel, that's an hour infusion for that particular med. The rest is the pre-meds and getting set up.
Yeah.
The other thing I should mention while it's on my mind is one big difference between the docetaxel and the cabazitaxel. The cabazitaxel has one of its pre-meds is IV Benadryl. And the consequence of that is you're not allowed to drive
Right.
afterwards. And they forgot to tell me about that ahead of time. So that first session was a little bit more stressful as a result of that.
Oops.
So that's a little bit of a loss of independence on my part. I was used to being able to drive myself to my own appointments and drive back again and not have to worry about coordinating with local family to say, hey, can you give me a ride?
Will they allow you to use an Uber or Lyft to go home?
Yeah, they will. That's one of my backup plans. Haven't had to use it yet, but
Yeah. No, I just know, like, for my colonoscopy, they said you have to have somebody to drive you home, and it can't be Uber or Lyft because they want
Right.
somebody to be somebody so they can watch you get in the house and everything.
and more so for the colonoscopy, I was advised that they have to stay there at the site the whole time as well. I've got that scheduled for April. That got put off because of the chemotherapy. So
Yeah,
not
mine
only do
didn't
I
have
need a
to-
ride, I need someone who can spend the time.
Yeah,
waiting.
mine didn't have to stay. They gave them a call about a half an hour before I was to be released, and that gave them time to get there and pick me up. So
Every now and then, a little a minor detail will trip you up.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Well, we're all praying for you, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we'll definitely keep that in mind. All right, guys.
I'll be happy when food starts tasting normal again.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that with my COVID losing my taste and smell.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This is our Uplifting Fridays. Just a couple of quick thanks too. thank you for all the prayers that everybody's been sending for, we'll call him Mr. G just to keep his privacy intact. It was the guy we talked about earlier in the week that lost his 15-year-old son while he's battling prostate cancer. Not that's something no parent should ever have to go through, and he's having to do that on top of having cancer. And especially too, we're praying for all the guys on there this week that we're just talking about. Hey, I just want to give up. I can't do this anymore. You can. Don't give up on this. You got us. You got everybody on that page and Facebook. We may not be there in person, but we're all praying for you. We're all pulling for you. We're all sending whatever you need. And sorry, I just keep thinking about that 15-year-old kid, and it gets to me. So
It's tough. I'll be bawling as soon as we end this.
yeah, it's just man, it's a rough one. It's like you said, Brian, the glass half full. I sit there and have my little pity party, and then I look at all these other guys. I'm like, man, I got nothing to worry about.
I do the exact same thing. I'm like, holy crap. It's just like, it's baffling. I see guys out there that, well, I mean, we had this conversation, Mark, when we first started talking about prostate cancer, is that, I have stage 4 prostate cancer, you have stage 3 prostate cancer, but your side effects were so much worse than mine that I told my doctor, I said, I feel bad. It's like, and he goes, don't feel bad, feel lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. And
everybody suffers independently and differently.
Yeah.
Yep,
we all deal with it differently.
Yep.
And then, so I mean, we're all talking about our crap, and then Ski walks up and drops his bomb on us. We're just like, I'm never going to complain about anything ever again.
Yeah.
You do what you can. So love all you brothers. Thanks so much for being here today. And for everybody that's watching the video, if you want to follow along, click on the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up for the algorithm if you like it. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for the prayers, the positive vibes, the good thoughts, the aloha, the shaka, everything you guys send our way. We totally appreciate it. So watch for Monday. We'll announce the name of the winner for the t-shirt. And man, have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Hi, all.
Steve, Jack, bye.
Bye.